Yeah.
Welcome back to In the Music Room. We have Owen Stroud here this evening, who played a wonderful set of his music for us. Welcome back, Owen.
Good to be back. Good to be here.
So we're going to get to know you a little bit. You mentioned New Braunfels. That's where you're living now.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually grew up in Leander. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I grew up in Leander, a little town northwest of Austin. When I was born, there was about 3,000 people, and now there's about 90,000. So the place is not quite as recognizable anymore, but it is still my hometown. That is correct.
Are your parents still living there?
They're still there.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I got 3 sisters. I got one in Cedar Park, just down the road, and then one in Colorado and one in D.C. So they're all kind of spread across the country, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got a song about Leander, too. I didn't play it tonight, but it seems like one of the ones that people have resonated with the most. And it's just called Leander. It's one that y'all can look up later, but it's a song about my hometown.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you the only musical person in your family? Or?
I am. I'm not sure how that worked out.
Really?
But, yeah. Ended up being that way.
So what gave you the bug? What got you into it?
I don't know. I think I was always just fascinated with instruments. I would help my dad from a very young age take down, the church worship team. We'd meet in a school, and sometimes my dad would take me by Straight Music in Austin, the music store out northwest. I remember very vividly strumming the strings in the guitar shop, kind of wondering about them and wondering how to play them. And I was exposed a lot to classical repertoire. My parents played a lot of that, and so I did kind of develop a curiosity about some of the composers and their stories. So that gave me enough imagination, I think, to jump into piano and have some sort of aspiration, some sort of sense of direction there for that, because I was like,
so it wasn't Mom saying, "Okay, little Owen, we're going to put you in piano lessons."
No, it was the music director at my church in Austin cornering my dad and telling him Owen needs piano lessons, and my dad was protesting and was I'll think about it, But the guy's like, no, I'll find you the teacher and I'll find you the piano and I'll make it happen. So that's.
Oh, good.
The story, how it came about.
So he saw the talent just boiling out of you.
I was always noodling around on pianos at church, yeah.
And you said that the guitar came later and you kind of self-taught yourself.
Right. So I started piano when I was 9, which, it was a little bit later of an age to start. But guitar I picked up at 12. So that was really nice to be able to do both instruments. It's been real handy to be able to do that. Something I'm really... it wasn't like it was my intention to start off being able to play by ear and read sheet music, but I'm very glad that it worked out that way.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of piano players, even some really good ones, often will be able to do only one or the other. So I'm really glad that I'm able to do both, playing by ear, and I can also read whatever's put in front of me. Yeah. Plus, being able to play guitar and be fluent in both the classical repertoire and the non-classical realm of popular music.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty handy.
Okay, let's get to the songwriting part of this. What made you think that you could write a song?
I think I wanted to try to write songs like the people I heard, I guess. I've always been a little bit of an emulator, which is a fancy, nicer sounding word than imitator. Imitator just sounds like you're ripping people off. Emulate sounds a little bit more like, okay, I want to kind of model their approach and then make it my own, which maybe that's the nuance and the semantics there. Not sure. But I do know that that's been the case for me over the years. I pick up on a certain sound, I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to incorporate this in some way. So I don't recall so much. I remember always just trying. I was always really into rhyming. I remember trying to write poems a bunch when I was a kid. So I had a sense by then, by 13 or 14, of which words rhymed and a sense of meter and all.
Yeah. So you were more you said the classical kid because that's kind of what you were brought up with. Yeah. Were you one of those that ever got together with your buddies that played music and had a band, or? I
was not, unfortunately. No? Yeah, I didn't really have any musical friends. I had friends, but I didn't have any musical ones. So I do kind of wish sometimes I'd had a band in high school. I missed out on that like high school rock band in your garage experience.
Right. But you had the church, and that's where sounds like a lot of
music education came through that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a whole background in hymnody and counterpoint, all this stuff that the choir, and there's a lot of that structure to how music is composed that just comes very naturally to me because of that backdrop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll say with songwriting, it has been a gradual process over the years that I'm always just trying to get better and better at. I mean, these days, like I remember I started keeping a songwriting folder back in 2011, which was my freshman year in college. And ever since then, I've had a little folder on my computer for every single year. And the oldest song that I have, like I think I only still play one song from 2012. And nothing from 2013, nothing from 2014, one song from 2015. And then as the years go by, there's more and more songs that I still have in the rotation. But there were all these points along the way in that journey where I would be looking at the songs that I'd written and be very proud of them, but then realize there's still so much more to learn how to get better at this.
Yeah, don't forget the old ones, though. You need to keep those.
Oh, yeah.
Pull
and
them
some
out,
of them I
dust them
remember
off every
all too
now and
well.
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I for some reason I think of you have a Simon and Garfunkel type flavor.
I'm a big fan of Paul Simon for sure.
You? Yeah. Definitely. That's what I was hearing a lot of. Who are your other influences other than Paul Simon?
I think to continue on the Paul Simon thing, I think something that I picked up about his songwriting that I think is remarkable is that he's got this knack for having these very heady lyrics that are very dense and kind of free-flowing, but then he manages to still make a pop song out of it with a simple chorus. For those of you who know the Graceland album, a lot of the songs on there, it's like, I mean, there's so many verses that are just this dizzying array of characters and just funny, interesting characters. Is that?
Black Boy the Bubble?
Yeah, and Fat Charlie the Archangel, like what? But he's got these simple choruses, and somehow he managed to make pop songs out of all these. Hearts and Bones is another fabulous album. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there are a lot of those songs that I would say that's one of the big things that I've picked up from Paul Simon is that you can be creative with your imagery and kind of do that in the verses, but then sometimes keep it simple in the chorus.
Yeah. He's good at that. He's really good. Paul Simon is a good study for anybody.
I heard because he lives in Wimberley now.
Does he really?
Yeah, and somebody was telling me like he was out there busking in downtown Wimberley. Just this.
Oh shoot! No way.
Yeah, and people would just go and put $1 in, like not knowing who he is. And I was just like, whoa, Paul Simon is like. That may be apocryphal. I'm not sure if that's true, but somebody who works in a studio out nearby was saying, he just goes out and busks because he enjoys playing.
Well, you need to find out when he's going to be there. You need to show him some of your stuff.
Right.
That could be the ticket.
There's no making it anymore. It's just grinding it out, which is okay.
I don't know about that. Right place, right time, knowing the right people.
Well, I mean,
I'd say Paul Simon would be a good start.
Well, I mean, it may be true for like 5% of people or something, but it's I think that is something I often have to combat in people's thinking when they're talking with me about it. Which it's great to have people's encouragement and all, but I often have to remind people like every single day, like, hey, it's not like I'm expecting to just suddenly make it tomorrow. And take off. Yeah.
You're a realist, and that's good because you know the industry and you know the percentages. But why not you?
Doing what you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to grow an audience for sure. But I know people who are been doing this for 30 years and it's still grind. They still got to wonder about whether they're going to sell tickets to this string of shows that they've booked and all. So, and I think that's healthy to remember. Yeah, Those things never go away, but there is a way at the same time to, of course, build your audience and there have been little steps along the journey that have either elevated me in some way or at least clarified things for me. Like there have been different times where I've realized, this one spot over here, I don't really want to play it anymore, but this other place is worth my time. I want to go there again. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have those moments.
Yeah.
But anyway, songwriting,
Yeah. You say that you mainly, are the road warrior in the state of Texas. Have you thought about venturing out to to other states? And
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I used to live in Missouri for a couple of years. I was in Charlottesville, Virginia for a year, and then I spent a couple of years in Nashville. And during those years, I used to just drive all across the country because I figured, well, I'm in a central location. I know people in a bunch of states. So I did a lot of house shows. Some of them were great. Some of them were very, very awkward. But I tried to go out there and play as much as I could, just from that central area.
Yeah.
But I was in Nashville for a couple of years, and then at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I was already trying to get back to Texas, and then the pandemic started,
Right.
and at that point, I was like, I'm just going to come on back. I'm kind of Nashville's great for a lot of folks. For me, it was a little bit too. There wasn't much breathing room for me. I felt like it was a bit too competitive somehow, and I wanted to be back on home turf. I'm a very geographically rooted person. My family goes way back in Texas, and so, yeah. Now, I will say I've had kind of a circuitous route in doing this because I taught music for 3 years down in San Antonio, and so I was doing that full-time for 3 years, and eventually left that because I was just like, I think there are other musical horizons to be exploring here. And so it's been in the past year and a half that I've just been being the road warrior out there. So that said, in this current phase, in the past year and a half, going on 2 years, I haven't ventured out of state yet for any shows, but I'm probably going to take a swing out east.
Well, if you can make a living and stay, on the home front, so to speak, and in your state, that's great that you can do that.
Yeah, there's a strength to it. Yeah, building a regional audience. Yeah. I wrangle over that a lot because I love the idea of just kind of being settled and not going here, there, and yonder. I still love to travel, but not quite as much as I did 10 years ago.
Right.
But it's also what I got to do.
We're getting older.
Yeah.
You have, all right, your newest song is Little Lucy, which you did, the closing song, which is adorable.
I'm very happy with it. It's my favorite song I've released yet.
And are you challenging yourself doing a song of the month for 2026? Or
Yeah, if you talk to anybody in the music business these days, they'll be keen to remind you that albums are dead, and that's not how you need to be releasing music. And actually, that's really been the case. Not that albums are dead, but that has always been the case for newer artists. You think about back in the 50s and 60s, where artists would release singles, and then the albums were there for people who wanted more of that artist. And I've always been kind of in the album mindset because I've always loved albums. I've always listened to albums. But recently I have started to shift my headspace into thinking, embracing the single release every month mindset. Because when I chose to kind of embrace that route, it does become a little bit more exciting. You can change the artwork for each song. You can kind of customize your release for each one. And it does allow for more of a chance to shine the limelight on each song. Instead of releasing 10 songs on a group and then they don't, maybe one of them gets some traction, but then the others just kind of fall by the wayside. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've already started the studio tracking process for like 15 songs. And that does give me something to be excited about looking over the course of this year.
Yeah. So do you also do artwork for each of your songs?
At this stage, yes. Probably at a certain point, I'll change that. But everything has been, the last few album covers.
You're a talented guy, aren't you?
I mean, you gotta hack away at it, I guess.
Yeah. I bet your parents are proud.
Yes, they're very supportive. I appreciate that.
That really helps too.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, where would you say, if you could play any place on the planet, would be your dream place to play?
I wish I had an answer, but I think what matters most is just getting to play to people who are there, who are bought into the music. And I will say, yeah, that's a great question. I will say there has been a setting I've had in mind that oftentimes will be the thing that I remember during a tough gig. It's the thing that keeps me going. And this is kind of a variation on an answer to your question, but I've got this song called "Will You Stay With Me." It's the last song at the end of my first record, and I wrote it in the dark one night in a farmhouse in rural Missouri. Snow-covered fields everywhere outside, in this moment of just kind of beautiful lonesomeness. The full moon outside on that snow and everything, but just feeling like, oh, it is dark and I'm alone. But writing this song that really means a lot to me. And so I have had this vision ever since then of playing it on stage, like in some venue, like an official venue, you know, with a large audience and all that. But it's like the penultimate song of the night. Maybe it's 2 or 3 songs from the end.
Yeah.
But I have a pedal steel player in the back, and he's just kind of like doing like these floaty notes that just kind of appear in and out. But it's like really slow in this piano ballad. Anyway, it's just, and I'm playing it at a grand piano. That's like the picture that I have in mind. Sometimes I'm like, it would make more sense if you heard the song, but it's the sort of thing I kind of keep in mind. So it's less of a venue and more like, I want to keep going so I can make that happen. Where, as much as I love this keyboard, it gets the job done. I love being able to play on a real grand piano. It's very hard to come by those. So I just every now and then, I just think about that picture that I have in my mind, playing some venue in Austin.
Could it be Carnegie Hall? Could it be Red Rocks? Could it be
Red Rocks? I don't know about outdoor. No, okay. That'd be a cool place to play.
With the full moon.
But not for this song. Like
no,
it would have to be inside.
Yeah, okay.
But I just imagine like this sort of blue light, sparse lighting, and it's just pretty much like an upright bass being played with a bow and a pedal steel, like just floating in and out with some of these high notes. And
I think you need to make it happen.
It's just upright bass and grand piano and pedal
cool.
steel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my picture that floats to mind every now and then. Where I'm like,
yeah.
when I feel like giving up, I'm like, nope, I got to make that happen.
That's super cool. Well, I know a lot of artists too will go, a couple of times or sometimes more than once to Europe because Europe loves American music.
Yeah.
Especially original music. So, have you thought about doing that at all, or?
I would love for that to happen at some point. Yeah.
I think you'd be very well received.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really look forward to your new songs of the month. And are you just going to take each song that you do for the month of 2026 and put an album per se together? Yeah,
I may stream together on playlists on different services, or I might, ever since we don't have physical copies of the music that
I don't like that.
Right, yeah. Now, I do have some CDs you can buy. I've got I don't have a merch table set up, but I've got a box over there with some of my first 2 albums in there. So if you still do like buying CDs, I've got some that you can have. But yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead yet in terms of how I bundle them together. Now, I will say one of the things that does free me up a little bit, I think, about doing the singles release is that each of them will sound a little bit different. I've always been a huge Beatles fan, and so I always love that. I'm seeing all those posters back there.
Yeah.
But like they're I always love taking a cue from Sir Paul on this because he's the guy who wrote a song like Junk. Da 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 da. And Helter Skelter, like in the same year.
Yeah.
So it's like that's some variety there.
Yeah.
I think versatility is pretty fun and interesting and keeps people on their toes. And
yeah.
I kind of like doing that.
Well, that's awesome.
Y'all got to hear it tonight with, some of the different styles in there. Like it was fun to have one like Shut Down Highway where I'm really pounding on the piano and then turn around and play Little Lucy.
Yeah. Very nice. Oh, I forgot to ask you about Little Lucy.
Yeah.
What did Little Lucy say about her song?
Oh, she is so cool. She is so cool. She'll just be like...
Yeah, that's me.
Be like... She won't really, I don't think she said anything about the song. She just kind of like... Yeah.
So big sis Cora pretty much is the one that's learning all this musical.
Oh yeah.
So little
Although
Lucy,
little Lucy's catching up.
is she?
I just started teaching her piano last year,
Oh,
and
good.
she is driven. I keep telling Cora, like, "Ooh, Lucy's gonna catch up. You better watch out."
Because Lucy wants attention. Because she don't want Cora to have it all.
I think
So
she's
she's
got
going to go
attention.
ahead and...
She's just got her own vibe.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
she's.
really
I don't think
cute.
she's desperate for attention. She's just like.
Yeah.
She wants to play piano.
Yeah.
And then and the Cora, I've been teaching her songwriting, just everything I know about like piano and guitar and songwriting. Just one of those magical kids where you sit down and I'm like, okay, like what in the world am I going to teach her today? Because there's so much we can focus on. I've been teaching her some bass and for the past few weeks, and she's been playing bass. Yeah.
Wow.
Super cool.
I can see, if she's inclined to a musical instrument, that she would pick it up and do well.
Mm-hmm.
But really, how do you teach songwriting to an 11-year-old that really doesn't have any life under her, so to speak? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first for starters, she has really good music taste. The family does, and so she's absorbed a lot of that. So she does a good job of listening to a lot of artists and noticing how they do things. Mm-hmm. I've been teaching her about slant rhyming because, tell you what, once you open up the door to slant rhyming, it opens up so many possibilities instead of trying to rhyme every, house with mouse every time.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
But it's really the vowel sounds that are more important.
Right.
So teaching her concepts of that, and yeah, it does take a lot of writing, very flimsy songs till you develop stronger ones. But I've been hearing a progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's cool. That's neat to see.
Yeah.
Now, as far as you go, when you're writing a song or composing a song,
Mm-hmm.
does the music usually come first or do the lyrics?
Historically, it's always been lyrics first, much to my chagrin, because I've always been a music. I can crank out melodies. Like I'll just make up a melody right now that nobody's ever heard before, that I've never heard. I don't even know how it's going right now. I'm just gonna. Okay, so that was not in my head just now. I just made something up here. So, because I can generate those really, really fast, that also means I can easily dispose of them. Because I didn't put heart and soul into. I mean, I played a nice little melody there, but
yeah.
It wasn't like it was a labor of like, which note am I going to do here? So, because I could easily generate it, I can also easily dispose of it and move on to other musical ideas that I might like better. Mm-hmm. Lyrics have not been that way for me. When I was in Nashville, I'd hang out with some of these guys who had publishing deals on Music Row, and they're totally cool with just sitting there and just spitting out lyrics, and sometimes very cleverly. Some really, really clever rhymes out there. There's some really talented songwriters. But I never felt as comfortable just spitting out words, because if I'm going to put words together, I want to make sure they mean something. I want to really...
You want to feel it.
And I want to truly represent the sense of what I'm trying to say here. Mm-hmm. So that said, I'd always felt this mismatch over the years where I would write lyrics first, because I would just write down things that are on my mind or write down things that I would see. Mm-hmm. But then they would end up being really wordy, and the more syllables you have in a line, the harder it is to make a good melody out of it. And the fewer syllables, the better, the more melodic you can make it. Mm-hmm. So where I've been pushing myself in recent years has been come up with a melody first. And that's much harder, but that does force me, as I heard one songwriter say one time, that the lyrics are there as the subtitle for those who don't understand the melody. And I love that, and I've just been forcing myself to think, what does this melody mean? I came up with this melody. What does it mean? It's almost like I'm searching for an objective answer. I don't know how many of y'all like spouting hot takes, especially music. But you get a bunch of musicians and they okay, here's my hot take. You all ready for my hot take? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that is really fun especially when you're talking music with a bunch of other musicians, is that the joy of spouting hot takes is that you're trying to make a completely subjective thing sound totally objective. You're like, oh, this is the best, or fill in the blank, you know?
Now, when you say hot take, do you mean like a prompt?
No. I mean like an opinion, like a spicy opinion. Like, oh, this is the best Beatles song, or this is the this is the worst. You know, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, maybe unpopular opinions. Okay, so, where was I going with that? So, the fun of talking about opinions like that, when you're just kind of spouting out opinions, is that you're trying to make stuff that you know at the back of your mind, okay, this really is subjective, but I'm going to make as an objective case as possible for this, you know? So that is sort of my approach when it comes to melodies, where I'm sitting with a melody and I'm thinking there is an objective, and I know there's not, because a lot of people come up with different moods, but I'm still going to treat it as like this objective thing, as this objective thing. I'm going to sit here with this melody and think, all right, there is an objective, correct mood or correct subject for this melody, and I'm going to work as hard as I can until I have words that correctly describe that melody. And that's where I've been pushing myself lately, and it's been really cool. And I think I've gotten more comfortable with writing lyrics into melodies that I've come up with, and being satisfied with the end result.
Yeah. Cool.
The other thing is that I have the firm conviction that my favorite songs are the combination of a good phrase and a feeling. It's like, those are the sperm and egg cells to me of a song. Because there have been plenty of times where I would come up with some cute phrase and then try to write a song about it, but then I didn't have any feeling to it. It was just a game. It was just like, this would be a fun little song title. I'm going to write this down. But I didn't care about it, and so I just forgot about it, disposed about it. And then I've had some where it's the other way around, where I had a very deep feeling, but I had no phrase to anchor it with. And so what I ended up with was just several verses long of streams of consciousness that didn't really go anywhere because it wasn't anchored to this feeling that you could easily use to summarize the whole song. So these days I've found that I've been consistently more satisfied with every song that I write, because I don't proceed until I know that I have a phrase and a feeling both together, and that's when I know I have something that I want to work with and spend time on.
Now, all of us songwriters here, I don't know about you, but the songwriters in this house, we have multiple pieces of paper everywhere in a stack of stuff we start writing and never finish, or something, a phrase or something, or an idea. You write it down. And you just put it in the stack. Now, Randy, I got to get up at 5:15 in the morning, so I go to bed early. Randy's a night owl, always has been. And he'll sit upstairs with his guitar and just kind of noodle, try to find melodies, things like that. And he'll kind of look through that stack, and every now and then something will hit him, and he's like, oh, yeah. And we get a good song out of it. And they're lyrics that were pretty much already there, maybe not 100% complete. But they couldn't find a home. So.
Well, I find that sometimes I end up co-writing with myself. I have to, because, your past self is sometimes a very different person. Exactly. You write stuff, I found my songwriting grid paper, always write in grid paper journals. Just helps me kind of organize things better. And I would go back and find phrases from when I was in Nashville in 2019, sitting there in the cafe at Whole Foods, writing stuff down, and whatever was on my mind back then is not what was on my mind now. And maybe back then, I quickly disposed of the idea. I mean, I kept it, but maybe back then I was like, I'm not going to do anything more with this. This isn't really going anywhere. But now that I'm removed from that Whole Foods cafe in Nashville in 2019... well, I'm not as immersed in that thought process of the me back then. So there is a real sense in which I'm able to take that phrase, though, that I really did write, even though the circumstances are different, and merge it maybe with something I'm thinking about now.
Yeah.
That's a really cool concept whenever it happens.
Mm-hmm. Do you write a lot of from things that you see?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
I used to do that even more so. And this has been sort of a shift in my songwriting philosophy in recent years, is that writing about what I see has always come very, very easily to me. Mm-hmm. And that's great. I've got a lot of songs I'm proud of. I've only played tonight the songs I've written since. Like the oldest song that I played was like October 2024. Okay. So I didn't play anything from my albums. I've been playing pretty much only new material tonight from the past year and a half. And the songs that I've historically written have been a lot more observation-oriented, which is, I think I have a knack for that and all. But one of the things I realized after spending some time with various songwriter friends and hanging out at Redbird Listening Room down in New Braunfels, where I spend every Thursday night when I don't have a gig. It's a great place. If you ever find yourself in New Braunfels, go to Redbird Listening Room. The more I spent time around other songwriters, I realized I don't have any of this. I don't have too many songs that I've written for other people. It seems like I was always hearing about other songwriters. They get up there and they're like, I was having this really powerful conversation with a friend, and so I wrote this song about that conversation. And I realized, whoa, I can't really say that about any of my songs. But these other songwriters are able to do that very effortlessly. And I thought, like, an angle that I've been leaning into a lot in the past 2 years has been writing songs more for other people. Because it's greater risk and it's greater reward. It's greater risk because you're involving somebody else now. It's not just you're driving down the road sort of feeling, and there's some fun songs that come out of that approach. But if I write a song for you, that's a little riskier because I want to get it right, Yeah. And I need to take the time to get to know what you're thinking, what is on your mind, and where you've been. And I'm going to take that time to get it right so that it feels like it accurately represents you or speaks to you in some way. And observational songs, again, I'm not going to stop writing those. It's just I'm trying to balance things out. Observational songs, they're not really involving somebody else. They're involving something else, but the scenery on the roadside is not going to be offended if I don't describe it perfectly.
Yeah.
So that is where I've been pushing myself in recent years. That's kind of how the songs for Cora and Lucy came about, as well as some others that I've written, because I had to put a little bit more of my heart out in the line and just say, like, all right, this is a song. I hope they'll enjoy it. There have been a lot of songs like that I've written for other people recently, and felt almost scared about sending them off to some of these people. But
yeah,
oh yeah, and yet the more I've leaned into that in the past couple of years, the more I've seen people respond to my songs, and that's been really encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, they relate.
Yeah. More and more, I'm having to remember what I make is a gift for other people. That's why I'm here tonight. I'm not here just to get some video footage and make myself feel good playing on stage here. It's ultimately like these songs are for y'all. These songs are for y'all, and
we feel that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I write every single song, whether it's supposed to be funny or whether it's supposed to be heartfelt, but I want to give it as like a gift to everybody that I play.
Yeah.
That helps anchor me whenever I am playing in a gig that is not so glamorous, and maybe it's a loud bar, but if I see that one person zoned in and paying attention, then I'm like...
You zone in on them.
Yeah, because I'm like... And I think conversely, that's the thing that can hurt so much for me, like in the background gigs, where it's like, I've made these as gifts for people in a sense. Like I've made these for other people to enjoy. And so when you do have that one person who's like zoned in, it changes the dynamic of a gig for me, because I'm like, all right, I'm giving these songs to this person. They're enjoying it. It's adding something to the night.
It's hard being a songwriter, and people want familiarity when they're in a bar, boozing it up or whatever. So a lot of times, you become background noise, background music. So I think
people have been singing along though, because they think a lot of my songs are covers. And that's been
Really?
fun.
Oh, that's cool. That's
I've had
very cool.
a lot of drunk people singing along to songs that they've only just now heard.
Right,
But
right.
they think it's a cover. I'm like,
Yes,
it's a win.
okay. That is. Yeah, we found that, songwriting and music is such an art that you want to kind of mesh that with where you play, such as listening rooms,
Right.
wineries, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the attention and they're listening to the lyrics, not just melody and not just so although whatever pays the bills at this point, but you kind of have to suck it up when people are just not listening to you, and that's hard to do. Yeah.
Like you said, though, when you're playing for that crowd, if you can find one or two people you can sing the whole night to, it takes the pressure off.
Oh, yeah.
You should be able to zero in.
Oh, it's so special when that happens.
Total understand that.
Yeah.
Well, it has been our pleasure having you here in
Thank
the
you all so
music
much for having
room.
me out.
I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing more and seeing more down the road. And being that you're in Texas, you're going to be hanging out. You know where we are now.
Yeah.
I also wanted to, again, thank our listening audience who has been here for the music, for the interview. I want to thank our listening audience out there. Without you, this would not be possible. Again, thank you for being here. You are in the music room.
Thank y'all.